2023 marks the 10-year anniversary for one of the greatest innovations to the grassroots competitive Pokemon scene and the format that actually got me into competitive in the first place, Pokemon Draft League. For those of you who don't know, I actually started as a content creator through Draft League content all the way back in 2015 and have played on and off all the way through the end of 2022. I got an offer for a National Dex Doubles Draft League that worked off of a lot of the same VGC clauses, and I figured this would be an interesting way to try my hand in this format to see if maybe doing a Doubles Draft League could rekindle the spark that Draft League once had for me. While I have no National Dex Doubles experience this generation, I figure this could be an interesting way to dabble in a lot of the new Pokemon that are going to be coming to these games in the eventual DLCs for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. If you guys want to see some more Draft League content on the channel, make sure to like and subscribe, and I might do another Draft League run in the future. In the description, we'll have links to both the WBG if you guys are interested in checking out this Draft League for yourselves, as they will have more seasons, but also to Kurt Stuff, who edited today's behemoth of a video. So make sure you guys check out both in the description below. For anyone unfamiliar with the Draft League concept, let's break down a quick summary of what to expect going forward. The league I'll be playing in this time around is the WBG, aka the Wigglytuff Battle Guild, and I'll be playing in their second highest division, the Frontier Division. This will feature a lot of strong players who either know draft better than I do, are better players in general than I am, or a combination of both. In terms of the rules, every team has 115 points to construct a roster of between 9 and 11 Pokemon. The only other major rule is that a lot of the clauses for in battle will mimic the same format that we'll have for VGC. So this means we're playing at level 50, we have item clause, and all that other shenaniganry. Now that we've broken down the basics though, let's get into the Pokemon that I actually picked for the draft this time around. I got the 3rd overall pick, and I managed to use this towards drafting a Sun team, but this was very accidental. My full team consists of Flutter Mane, Tornadus, Walking Wake, Torkoal, Hisuian Lilligant, Mesprit, Bisharp, Rhydon, Spewpa, and Spheal. I picked Spheal because one of my friends named Faye had just asked me nicely to pick this Pokemon, and Faye happened to also be the one who helped with a lot of my draft picks, so despite the fact that I knew Spheal probably wouldn't end up coming to a game this season, I figured it was the least I could do. For my other 9 Pokemon though, I did manage to have some pretty glaring flaws, but these didn't really become apparent until around week 2 or 3, when I ended up having to prep for a ton of games at once and realized I didn't have a lot of options here. Despite the fact that I have a lot of really overpowered Pokemon like Flutter Mane and Walking Wake at my disposal, at the same time, these aren't exactly very diverse Pokemon. Despite this, I do think that we have a lot of strong Pokemon that can apply a lot of immediate pressure to most games, which is something that I felt like a lot of my opponents couldn't necessarily do as well as I could. Because of the rules as well, I'll regain access to some pretty powerful moves on Bisharp, with the biggest one being Knockoff, which is actually a huge deal because Bisharp, in my opinion, was pretty under-tiered, and this helps a lot with just giving a really strong physical attacker that can potentially clean games. Going into week 1, I take on a player by the name of Flipsicle, whose team consisted of Rillaboom, Volcanion, Diancie, Smeargle, Latios, Ferrothorn, Sandyshock's Coughing, and Darumaka Galar. Prepping into this week, I was mostly afraid of Volcanion and Rillaboom, as this core put up a ton of pressure against most of my team. Rillaboom had a strong Terrestrial option in its pocket, with the best option being Fire, Fairy, Water, etc., and with Grassy Glide it could prove to be rather difficult for my team. Meanwhile, Volcanion was actually already pre-Terra a fairly good option that could sponge hits from a lot of my Pokemon, and thanks to the Assault Vest and the strong defensive typing, it allowed the Volcanion to actually check Pokemon like Flutter Mane and even potentially Walking Wake pretty easily. For this week, I bring Tornadus, Flutter Mane, Walking Wake, Hisuian Lilligant, Torkoal, and Bisharp against my opponent. I figured I could either A, out-offense my opponent with the combination of Walking Wake and Flutter Mane, or B, in case if my opponent brought a really bulky Volcanion, I do have the Sun Core with Hisuian Lilligant and Torkoal, which could not only provide Torkoal as a really strong fast option here, but also Hisuian Lilligant does a really good job at breaking Volcanion, allowing Torkoal to just end up being a win con. We're here with our first match of the series. We're taking on Flipsicle, but no Smeargle is huge. That changes a lot. That means I don't have to tire most of my mons truthfully. My best lead is probably something with Tornadus. I think Tornadus is a really strong lead here. There's no flying, which is barring shocks. And I think something like Tornadus and the Walking Wake could actually be a really deadly lead here. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to bring Flutter Mane in the back, and I think that my final mon will probably be the Bisharp. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. My opponent's going to switch into Volcanion. That's good information. Good thing I did not go for a fire attack there. Meanwhile, Draco into the... Oh, yep, okay, perfect. So Draco's into that. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so Latios this turn is going to get nuked by Draco. It would have to literally Terra Fairy, because anything else could... Well, Terra Steel also kind of a problem. I'm gonna go for Draco Meteor into into Latios, and I'm gonna go for Bleak Wind Storm with Tornadus. Volcanion's terrifying. Terra Steel. Okay, so my opponent just got me there. Good play by my opponent. I still do a lot of damage with that, which is good to know. I lose Wake in the process. I'm kind of fine with that though, because we got some good information. Volcanion. We know that Volcanion... Ooh, that did a lot of damage. I'm going to bring in Flutter Mane here. Flutter Mane should be really strong. I can proceed to go for, most likely, I think I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball into the Latios. I feel like Shadow Ball into Latios is really free here. And then I'm going to go for a knockoff into Volcanion. It's probably Assault Vest, if I had to guess, based on the fact that yeah, that's Assault Vest. Okay, I was going to say, I have a lot of really good special threats in my team, and Volcanion's a decent sponge. Ooh, Heavy Slam. We just barely take that. Perfect. I'm going to go for Protect on Tornadus, on Flutter Mane here. And I'm going to go for a Bleak Wind Storm here, and I'm going to try and get some good damage off on the Rillaboom at this point. Rillaboom goes for Protect as well. Ah, unfortunate. Because I could have gotten off a really strong Shadow Ball here. Steam Eruption goes off. Yep, okay. That's unfortunate. So I think this game is kind of over. Assuming that is a Grassy Glide Rillaboom, which is... I don't really see a reason for anything else. I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball into Volcanion. Because at the very least, if I can dual target that, I might get some... Okay, yeah, so it does a Grassy Glide. Okay. And on to game number 2. I'm going to go with Walking Wake Torkoal. I feel like that's a pretty good offensive lead against them. I'm going to bench Torn altogether. I'm going to bring Flutter Mane, and I think that my last mon will probably be Bisharp again. Volcanion Latios could be pretty good. Nope, they're leading same lead. Okay. So I think that it is in my best interest to just go for the Draco Meteor into Latios, since we have not seen any item choice yet. And then I'm going to go for a Heat Wave here. Actually, I'm going to go for an Eruption here, because even if Rillaboom goes for Tantrum, I should be fine. There's merit to going for Earth Power, maybe predicting Volcanion, but in case of the Terra Steel. Okay, so Latios is going to be Focus Sash. Ooh, okay, Focus Sash Latios. So we've lost Walking Wake. That's fine. So I'm going to definitely bring in my Flutter Mane here, and I'm going to pop my Terra Grass, I think. Because Terra Grass should be... Well, actually, I'm not going to pop Terra Grass just yet. I think there's a lot of merit in Rillaboom either going for Protect or going for a swap this turn. I'm going to go for Dazzling Gleam. And I'm going to go for the Eruption. Eruption should still be a fairly strong hit, and I can actually just take out the Latios completely. We know it's not Scarf, which is huge. And yeah, I think that should be good for me. Because even if Rillaboom goes for the Glide, I don't think it should kill. They're going to go for Protect. Okay, perfect. So Latios sacks, that's great for me. We know it's not Choice, which is also really good. Yep, Volcanion comes in. Okay, so with the Sun up, Mystical Fire should nearly kill. That depends, of course, on my opponent's spread, but I'm willing to take that chance. And I'm just going to go for Earth Power and Volcanion here. Perfect. Rillaboom is gone. That's a huge mon cleared right here. And then Torkoal can take the Hydro Steam meanwhile, and Eruption does... that's okay damage. That's okay. We will more than take that, actually. And then Coughing is last mon. I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball and a Volcanion here, and I'm going to click Protect on Torkoal. I'm curious about what my opponent will do. Okay, so we can at least take out Volcanion on the next turn. We do lose this in the process, so a little bit unfortunate. I could have maybe went for an Earth Power here, but I think I'm still fine with this. I'm going to go for a Terra Water here. I'm going to go for a knockoff here into Volcanion. And then I'm going to go for one more Protect. Actually, no, I'm just going to go for a Heat Wave here. They're going to go for Terra Fire. Okay, so Terra Fire is fine. We've hit the very bare minimum. We've lost Torkoal, but I can manage this. I can manage this for sure later on. They're going to go for Sludge Bomb. Okay. Coughing at the very least could kind of maybe be a problem, specifically with like Wisp. Nope, it's just going to go for Sludge Bomb. Trying to fish for poison. Okay. So I need to go for a Sword Stance into Knockoff. That's going to be my best way to damage this thing. Yeah, I need to go for a Knockoff here. And does my opponent poison? No poison? Okay, perfect. So I can Iron Head and I get the game. Now I can go into game number 3 with a fair bit of information. And we can try and make this work. We can try and maybe pull up a win. I'm going to go for Walking Wake and Torkoal here. Because I can essentially just go for the Heat Wave plus the... Well, plus the Draco on turn 2. And that should be really good for me. I'll bring Flutter Mane in the back. And I think that my final mon is probably going to be... I kind of like the idea of Torn or Bisharp again. Not really feeling Lilligant. Okay, so my opponent has led off with Diancie and Rillaboom this time. Now, Diancie and Rillaboom is actually a lot better for me. Because what I can actually do, I can still go for that dual Protect. And even if they get up a Trick Room here, I'm actually still pretty fine. So we're going to not pick a sack here. We're going to see that Diamond Storm goes off. Okay, this is perfectly fine. So I'll go for Hydro Steam. And I'm actually just going to go for Heat Wave for what it's worth. I think that's a smarter play. Terra Water. So that still does a fair bit of damage. Let's see. Okay. So High Horsepower and then Diamond Storm. So neither mon actually dies to this, thankfully. And Diancie gets down to about half, which is good. I'm going to have to go with Terra Fire, though, specifically to avoid the Rillaboom Grassy Glide. That's very much coming this turn. And I'm going to go for a Heat Wave, just in case. So Diancie goes for Protect. Rillaboom does go for the Grassy Glide this turn, though, which does so much less damage than I thought. We could probably just massacre Rillaboom outright. Okay, pretty much killed. That's fine. I can make this work though, because Diancie should still drop to this, and I can thankfully avoid dying to Rillaboom as well. My opponent's given up their only switch into this as well, so Diancie just drops, which is perfect. If I lose Wake, I'm fine with that too, but we actually lose Torkoal instead, which is so much better for me. I think I'm gonna go into Flutter Mane. Volcanion comes in. Okay. I'm fine with Volcanion coming in, actually. My opponent's definitely gonna kill me with some sort of water type attack. Actually, I could maybe go into Bisharp here. And then go for Gleam. That could probably work out fine, actually. Grassy Glide. Perfect. Okay, that does nothing. And Rillaboom is at least gone. That's huge. And my opponent either went for the Flutter Mane kill or they went for Eruption. And both of them do not matter a ton. I'm going to go for a knockoff into Volcanion, actually. I'm going to go for Protect. I think that might be my best play. We see Aurus here go off. Oh. Okay, that's kind of huge if they targeted Volcanion as well. Okay, perfect. This doesn't matter. I'm going to go for Sucker Punch plus Gleam here. I'm going to try and claim my Latios kill. Actually, hold on. Oh, fuck. I meant to click Protect. No. Okay. Fuck, I lose. I need to click Protect on this. And I need to go for the fucking Shadow Ball on Volcanion. Okay. So Shadow Ball goes off. Volcanion dies. What do they target? No! Okay. Oh, that was game. Good game to my opponent. We'll see you guys for the next. Bouncing back from week 1 loss, we had a really unfortunate set of weeks coming up in terms of my ability to prep. Because of the upcoming NISC tournament, as well as a very busy end of June in general, I had to build and play my next 3 sets in one single night. First off is week 3's matchup against Repeat. One of the first games that I truly noticed just how bad my team is, specifically in terms of the building aspect. This was especially bad in this particular matchup, as I was playing a team consisting of Spectrier, Tinglu, Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Baxcalibur, Infernape, Scolipede, Abomasnow, and Stantler. I honestly don't know how my opponent managed to get such a terrifying team, but between the Abomasnow, which could clear my weather at any given moment, Dozogiri, which was especially hard for me to break in general, and Tinglu, which with a bulky Terra could bully most of my roster, I was definitely in a pickle here. I proceeded to bring a team consisting of Flutter Mane, Tornadus, Mesprit, Bisharp, Torkoal, and Walking Wake, which I think actually proved to be a pretty bad idea that was mostly due to a limited prep window. I feel like I had to bring 7 Mons here, but I don't think that benching Lilligant was the right call. To make matters worse, not running Clear Smog on Torkoal left my opponent with essentially a very free way to just break through my team with Dozokiri, and I didn't have any way of actually beating this set of Pokemon other than just hoping for a really lucky set of crits, which wasn't really the best game plan in hindsight. If I could have picked to redo a single game in this entire run, this would by far in a way be the choice that I would pick. I feel like I could have done a lot better in hindsight, and I realized immediately 20 different ways where I could have both played and prepped this way better. I'm going to proceed to lead off for game 1 with, I feel like Tornadus plus Walking Wake could actually be pretty decent here. I'm going to proceed to bring Mesprit in the back. I think Mesprit could be decent, at least if Wake really does need to just kill it. Not Wake, Dondozo just needs to kill it. And then I think I'll bring Torkoal. Most likely it's Infernape is probably going to go for some sort of fake out. My guess is it's into Walking Wake because it's the less obvious one with Bleak Wind. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to go for the Tailwind Storm. Not Bleak Wind, Clover Cloak. That's what I meant. So I'm going to go for fake out here, and then I'm going to go for Protect on Walking Wake. I know this play seems kind of obvious, but I don't really have a better one in all honesty. They went for Close Combat. Okay, good to know. Close Combat, and then Rock Slide. What I'm going to proceed to do is I'm going to go for Bleak Wind Storm into Infernape. Well, obviously it's spread, but it's mostly for Infernape. I'm going to go for Hydro Steam into Infernape as well. I really just want to kill Infernape in case it's Focus Sash. This will be a good way to scout. So that actually just took the hit fairly well. Is this Mon just really weak? Oh, you know what? Tinglu. Right, Tinglu. Okay. So he killed the Infernape at least. It's already huge. Dozo is in the back. That was pretty obvious for what it's worth. It was fairly obvious Dozo. This is still fine. I'm going to go for Taunt into Dozo, though. This should stop any sort of subsets from getting off. And then I'm going to proceed to go for Draco into Dozo. I'm actually just going to completely ignore Tinglu for now. Okay, Tinglu went for what? Let's see. So Dozo. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to go for the Taunt here into Dozo, and then I'm going to go for Hydro Steam into Tinglu. They're going to go into Tatsu now. Fuck, okay. Tatsugiri. That makes sense. Okay. This is still fine. And then order up. This is good to know, though. I can go into Mesprit here, and I can actually get up a... What I'm going to proceed to do is I'm going to go for a Trick Room this turn. And then I think I'm going to go for Terra Steel. Terra Steel actually helps me a lot against Tinglu and Dozo and Tatsu, to be honest. So I'm going to go for that. And then I'm going to go for Draco into Dondozo here. Dondozo might automatically outpace me. Yeah, so it does outpace me. That's perfect, actually, because I can proceed to just go for Draco again. Oh, we just crit. That's actually really huge for me, I can't lie. I'm gonna U-turn on the Tatsu, and I'm gonna go for Draco on the Tatsu. Just in the off chance that this is going for some sort of, I don't know, really just in case it's Sash and I can get the hit off, because for some reason they target Torkoal, which works out well for me, obviously. Okay, yeah, it's a Muddy Water, perfect, okay. This is fine. I can proceed to bring in Mesprit and then go for Healing Wish. So I'm actually gonna click Protect on Tinglu, and then I'm gonna go for Healing Wish onto the Walking Wake this turn. Oh, what the fuck? That didn't work? Why didn't that work? Why didn't Healing Wish work there? I'm gonna go for this. Oh, shit, right. I'm mixing this up with Lunar Blessing. Oh my god. Okay, well, that's bad. Weakness Policy Tinglu. Okay. Good to know, but that kind of fucks me over. Okay. For game number 2, good luck, have fun, of course. I'm gonna lead off with Torkoal, Flutter Mane. I'm gonna bring Walking Wake. And then I'm gonna go with Mesprit as last mon. Because what I could proceed to do... Okay, so they're gonna lead off with Baxcalibur and Tinglu. Okay, this is fine. So Baxcalibur, Tinglu, Baxcalibur overall is kind of threatening, but I can make this work. But what I could probably do is just go for Terra Fairy Gleam. I could also just not Terra though, and just go for Gleam. I'd probably lose Flutter Mane by not going for Terra, but I think I'm fine with that. I'm gonna actually just go into Mesprit, and then I'm going to click Protect here. On this turn would be to try and make them Heavy Slam and then take more chip that way. Terra Poison, okay, perfect. So we revealed the Terra type already, and on top of that as well, we've gotten some overall good information. I'm going to proceed to go for a Trick Room here, and then I'm going to go for a Flamethrower into the Tinglu. I don't think Tinglu kills me, and frankly, they would need to go for Tinglu plus Baxcalibur, I think, to kill me. So I'm pretty okay with this. They're gonna go for Sword Stance. Okay, that's fine. And then Tantrum does not kill. That's perfect. Because I could probably just sack Wake, then go for Healing Wish and bring in Torkoal. And that would actually be pretty good for me. But I'm kind of putting myself in a pretty shit position by doing that. I think I'm gonna have to do that because I need to really benefit my Torkoal endgame. But I think I need to do no Terra, actually. That's what I need to do. And I'm gonna throw in Wake. If they kill Wake, that's fine. I think I kind of just need to do that though. Rock Slide, okay, we dodge. We take that pretty well. And then Glaive Rush, yeah, that's gonna kill. Okay, that's fine. Eruption will do significantly more damage to Tinglu, and we might even just be able to kill it, which is huge. So I can go for that, and then I can go for Moonblast into Bax. If they go for Protect, that's fine. I don't really care. But Tinglu should drop to this, which is huge. Oh, fucking Christ. Okay. Well, we take the Heavy Slam pretty well, actually, thankfully. And Torkoal still has Trick Room up for a couple more turns. So I can just proceed to go for this, and then I can go for a Protect this turn, because I think they're going to Ice Shard me and just pick me off. Yep, they do Ice Shard me. Perfect. Okay. So this Eruption goes off pretty unharmed, which is huge. They have Tatsugiri. Okay. I'm going to proceed to go for an Eruption here, and then I'm going to go for a Dazzling Gleam here. I'm going to hope that I take this. Oh, damn. Okay. Unfortunate. So we lose this one 0-2. Honestly, this was a really not good matchup, so I'm not too concerned with losing this one, and my opponent's a pretty good player. Coming up right off of our week 3 loss, we go immediately into our week 4 match, where I take on an old friend of mine by the name of Street Cred Cookie. Cookie's team was absolutely terrifying, and in terms of the drafts, I would argue Cookie might have even had the best one. Cookie's roster consisted of Genesect, Lando T, Roaring Moon, Keldeo, Rotom Heat, Mr. Mime, Spiritomb, Arboliva, Clodsire, and Golisopod. Looking at this team, I could sense that pretty much every single Pokemon had a really good reason to be brought to this game, and with Genesect arguably being the best Pokemon in the entire draft pool, as well as some really good support to both bring it in and allow it to win games, this was going to be a pretty rough matchup. My team this week consisted of Flutter Mane, Tornadus, Walking Wake, Hisuian Lilligant, Torkoal, and our best win con in my opinion this week being Rhydon. With the Terra Water specifically, Rhydon actually was able to rock a moveset of Earthquake, Rock Slide, Ice Punch, and Protect, which actually allowed it a fairly strong positioning against my opponent in order to just keep claiming wins against my opponent's team. Rhydon with the support of Tailwind allows it to actually be a fairly good offensive threat, and meanwhile, unless my opponent brings Arboliva, they don't really have a good way to actually damage this thing once I've Terra'd, meaning that I should be in good hands here.
In terms of a lead, I think there's a very likely chance that like Roaring Moon Mime leads. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to lead off with Torn and Wake. I think gives me the best lead. I feel like I lead with Torn and Wake all the time, but I do feel confident in it. I'm going to bring Flutter Mane in the back, and then I'm going to bring Rhydon as last one. I think Rhydon's actually super fucking good here, and it's probably going to be my Terramon of choice. Genesect Mime is actually the lead here. I'm still fine with this, actually. Genesect could be a little bit annoying, but truthfully, I don't care a ton. What I'm going to proceed to do is I'm going to go for a Tailwind here, as I'm anticipating this to go for Fake Out into Wake. So I'm going to go for a Protect on Wake. So it's Terra Normal. Okay, so it's going to go for the E-Speed strats. Good to know. Good to know. Yep, they're going to E-Speed. Oh my god, they're just kills. Okay, very good to know. I'm going to bring in my Flutter Mane here. And my Flutter Mane, thankfully, I can actually just proceed to go for a... I could probably just go for a Terra Fairy Moonblast and then probably just go for a Draco here and just fucking kill the thing. I will say, this Mime could be kind of scary by doing that, but I kind of just need to kill... Oh, you're fucking kidding. Yeah, Genesect's just going to Iron Head my Flutter, and I think it's already game 1. Yeah, that's already game 1. I should have went for Hydro Steam for what it's worth into that Mime. I forgot this thing got Follow Me, and I'm going to go for a Rock Slide, and then I'm going to go for a Protect here. Rock Slide should pick off Mime for sure. It's not really that bulky on the physical side. Rookie mistake, I guess. Rookie mistake. Let's see. Follow Me. It's going to go off. They're going to go for Iron Head, thankfully. Perfect. Okay. Oh, are you fucking kidding? Oh, that actually kind of sucks. Because there's no way in hell they're going to go for Iron Head anymore. So now I'm actually fairly susceptible to the Silk Scarf Draco, which thankfully it doesn't kill. But it just... Definitely, it's a little bit more rough. So E-Speed goes off. Thankfully, it does not kill. And thankfully, I went for the Hydro Steam into the thing. I do get Gleamed, and I'm pretty sure this means that it's game over. In terms of my game number 2, what's going to be my play? Torkoal Lilligant could be decent. We'll go with Flutter as slot 3, and then slot number 4. I think slot number 4 probably has to be Wake. Yeah, we'll go with Wake. Anyway, my opponent decides to lead off with Rotom, Heat, and Landorus. Okay, that's good to know. I'm honestly just going to probably go for a dual Protect this turn. I want to see what my opponent goes for here. Landorus is just going to go for Raw Earthquake here. Perfectly fine. So we know it has Sonic Tantrum and Earthquake. And then Torkoal is going to go for Overheat, which is good to know as well. I'm just going to go for Eruption here. Rotom goes for Protect. That's perfect, actually. Landorus goes for... Okay, that's Assault Vest Landorus. Good to know. That's certainly like Assault Vest. It's not even like me overestimating. So Genesect is 100% going to target Lilligant. I'm going to go for After You, and then I'm going to go for another Eruption here. This Eruption should be some big damage. Genesect's going to go for Protect. Don't really care. If Torkoal dies here, and if Lilligant dies here, then good play by my opponent. Yep, okay, Torkoal. Lilligant dies. Good to know. I can bring in Flutter Mane, actually. Flutter Mane should get some really good damage off into that Rotom spot, at least. And then I can proceed to just pick off the Genesect later on. What I might actually do instead is I might go for Protect and then target this with Flamethrower, which I think might actually be a bit smarter of a play. I'm gonna actually do that, yeah. They're gonna go into Claude. Okay, so Claude's Ira did come. Good to know. Discharge did go off, so that's huge information. No, I'm gonna go for Shadow Ball into Rotom. I think Rotom is kind of a problem right now. And then I'm going to proceed to go for a Flamethrower. I'm actually gonna go into Wake, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go hard to Wake. Because I do kind of need to make sure that I can get the Sun back up, so Wake can actually outpace their team. Because it's kind of... Well, actually, no, Wake outpaces the whole team. I don't actually need the speed boost here, because nothing here is Scarfed. That Rotom is not Scarfed, and nothing else was either. So I can actually just stay in and go for Flamethrower. It doesn't matter. Then yeah, I'm going to do that. Rotom is not going to die to that. It's perfectly fine. We do Spit F drop it, which is kind of huge. Discharge will go off. The question is, though, does my opponent actually... They go for Earthquake. Okay. This is fine. Yeah, so Torkoal's probably going to die here. I kind of just need to accept that. And then go for my Flamethrower anyway. Because I need Wake in as well. It's going to get me the best positioning, I think, among everything I can do. So we'll lose Torkoal here. That's fine. But I think I can actually win this game off of Wake plus Flutter Mane. I think there's a chance. We've burned through a... We have not actually burned through a Protect turn, but it's still not really a huge deal. I prefer the gamble of killing with Draco, truthfully. I think it's more favorable. Plus, I can at least clear Rotom, which is better for my differential if I really have to play that route. Yeah, so it's Super Spit F. Okay, so I was not killing that, most likely. Citrus Berry and Earthquake's going to kill my Flutter Mane. Okay. So I don't think I can win this game anymore. Especially with my special attack being dropped. That's kind of a game. I could have maybe done it with Flutter Mane alive. That could have maybe put up enough field positioning, but I can't really do it anymore. Good game to my opponent. Yeah, that's the game. So another 0-2, unfortunate. The Claude was Water Absorb, so I'm really glad I didn't at least go for a Hydro Steam and make a rookie mistake there. But yeah, Cookie's team just better than mine, to be honest. Cookie also just outplayed me 100%. It is what it is. We'll try and bounce back in the chip game. Hopefully, I can win that one at least.
To end our 3-game gauntlet, we actually have a match against Chimpact. Now, Chimpact was supposed to be our week 2 game, but this was the one that I ended up pushing back. And coming off of 2 losses, I was definitely a bit more worried than I already was. I haven't had exactly a great streak of playing Chimpact in the past. In fact, every time that I played Chimp, I managed to get myself in a really good winning position and then choke the game immediately. So this was already a matchup that I was pretty worried about. Thankfully though, Chimp's roster consists of Cresselia, Ursaluna, Incineroar, Goodra, Hisui, Dragonite, Orthworm, Clefairy, Alomomola, Alcremie, Weirdeer, and Stonechainer, which is basically a team with a couple of really good offensive Pokemon being Dragonite and Ursaluna, and then the rest are just all support Pokemon. Despite this though, there were definitely still a lot of Pokemon that could deal some strong damage after setup, like Goodra, Hisui, Orthworm, and Incineroar, which definitely meant that I did need to be careful here. I went through a few different versions of the team, but ultimately settled on one consisting of Bisharp, Tornadus, Torkoal, Mesprit, Flutter Mane, and Hisuian Lilligant. Talking with Cookie, he mentioned that adding a Hustle Clear Amulet Hisuian Lilligant to deal strong damage against Chimp's team would be pretty ideal, since most Pokemon were going to be 2 KO'd, and this was something I actually severely overlooked. After consulting with Kurt, Cookie and I agreed to go with the fuck it we ball approach, and proceeded to drop Walking Wake to fit this much better offensive breaker on the team. Lilligant provided us with a strong way to check a majority of Chimp's major offensive threats, 2-KOing almost every Pokemon on his entire roster. I think this is probably the most confident I felt yet in terms of our prep, but we'll have to see how this turns out.
I fucked up. I realized right after game 1 accepted, someone told me that one of my moves is actually completely illegal on my Torn. Specifically, a fairly big move, Embargo, to this matchup. So if I click that move, I auto lose the game. I'm gonna just go for Torn Flutter Mane lead, and I'm going to backline the Torkoal and Bisharp here. I think it's truthfully my safest play for game 1. My game plan essentially just needs to be to deny Trick Room, and if it gets up, I just need to pressure my opponent. Now this game is going to be pretty huge for scouting. I intend to try and win this game, but it is very likely that I lose game 1 because it's going to be an information grabbing for why I'm playing certain ways. So you'll just have to kind of bear with me as I make some questionable plays for what it's worth. They're not really questionable, but like, you'll get what I mean. Because for turn 1, for example, I need to taunt Crest and then go for Terra Fairy Moonblast. The logic in this is, of course, to scout for 1, Terra Dark to get around Prankster, and 2, for Mental Herb to get around the Prankster taunt. So I need to go for this immediately into Cresselia. Incineroar did not go for taunt, which is fine. They are Mental Herb Cresselia, good to know. Cresselia, Mental Herb, and then Incineroar's Snarl with Intimidate. That's actually really huge. I can just taunt it on the following turn, and that's really good. And then I can proceed to go for a Moonblast here yet again. And just stopping Crest from being able to get up Trick Room is actually really fucking good here. We've dropped the special attack anyway. Instant does reveal Parting Shot, which means it's not Assault Vest, which is also really good for me. Perfect, okay. And then probably just go for Foul Play into Ursaluna. And then I'm going to proceed to go for a hard switch into Torkoal. Torkoal should help boost my Flutter Mane up for later, which is going to be pretty big. And then I don't mind losing Torkoal because Trick Room never went up. So that's really good for me. They're going to bring in Incineroar yet again. Perfectly fine. Ursaluna is going to take a good amount from Foul Play, albeit not a lot. But it's enough. It's enough. So I'm going to go for Dual Protect. Actually, I'm going to go for Protect. And then I'm going to go for a Flamethrower into Ursaluna. I think there's a good chance they try and just kill my Flutter Mane this turn, which is fine. I don't really mind them going for that. Yep, Fake Out into that. And then, okay. And then Headlong Rush. Good to note. This Flamethrower does pick off Ursaluna, which is actually really huge. And then Dragonite is the last mon. Okay, so good to know. We've gotten some good information from game 1. My Bisharp is actually looking really good here, thankfully. I am going to proceed to go for a Dazzling Gleam this turn. And then I'm going to proceed to go for a Flamethrower into the Dragonite spot. My opponent's probably going to go for Terra Dragonite realistically, which I'm fine with that. They're actually going to go for Protect. So be it. Instin's probably just going to go for Snarl here. Yep, okay. So this works out fine. Realistically, I'm not really too concerned with that. I am going to proceed to just go for a Protect here, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go for Protect, and then I'm going to proceed to... I'm actually going to bring in Bisharp this turn. In case of Snarl, I can pop that and get Defiant activated, which is pretty huge. Or even Parting Shot as well, for that matter. And then I'm going to go for a Flamethrower into Dragonite. I am going to probably lose Torkoal, but I'm fine with that. Terra Normal, okay. Let's see, so Terra Normal. Bisharp is going to pop Defiant here, which is pretty huge. And then I am going to proceed to go for a Low Kick into the Dragonite this turn. That should be a pretty huge set of damage right here. I can just go for Gleam here. Gleam should do enough, especially in tandem with Low Kick. Protect, that's okay. Cresselia is going to die here. And then I can proceed to just Dual Protect on the next turn. Incineroar is going to boost my Bisharp even further. And then, even with the special attack drop, I'm not really too concerned, because Bisharp's my win con. So we'll go for dual protect just to get around any fake out shenaniganry. So fake out, yep, they're going to go for Dragon Dance. Okay, this is interesting. Because now that could actually be kind of a threat. Tantrum at +1 does not actually kill though. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a low kick and just gamble on that being Tantrum and then go for Gleam. So I'm going to take advantage of that. E-Speed just does kill. Okay, perfect. So I guess Burning Jealousy. Okay. And then low kick goes off. Perfect. Okay. Get KO'd by Sucker Punch here, which is perfect. GG, well played for Chimp. So I'm going to lead off with Lilligant and Tornadus. I'm going to bring Torkoal in the back, and I think Bisharp will be last one. I don't know if I want to bring Flutter Mane. It's not bad here by any means, but I just think that I have a better Forzal, Incineroar, and Goodra lead. Okay, perfect. So this works out really well. I can proceed to go for a Terra Ghost here immediately, and then close combat the Incineroar. This should stop any fake out from going off, and then I can proceed to go for Taunt into Goodra, which should help because we know it's not Mental Herb, so at best Terra Dock. This gets rid of any sort of potential for Shelter this turn, which is really good for me. So we've already revealed 3 Mons, which is pretty good, and we do like half to that Clefairy. Holy shit. Okay. Holy shit. Well, Gooch is gone. I'm gonna bring in Bisharp here. I can proceed to go for the Iron Head into Clefairy, just because I'm kind of expecting it to do that. In return, though, Bisharp's gonna have to take a fuck ton here, but I'm willing to accept that. Good damage. Clefairy's gonna go for Protect. God damn it. Okay. I think it's a game already. Because I can't really break that Mon. Burn. Okay, that's even worse. But truthfully, I don't really think it matters a lot. I think that's just, it's just overkill if anything. But I'm pretty sure I might be better off forfeiting here. Just to preserve my back line. Because I have no chance of beating the Goodra. I actually cannot break that Goodra anymore. So game number 3. I'm going to go for Mesprit plus Torkoal this turn. I'm going to go with Bisharp in the back. Now I think I'm going to go with late game Lilligant. I think late game Lilligant should be pretty decent here. I don't know if I need Torn, in all honesty. I think I should just lean into Trick Room. And then again, I don't really think I like Flutter Mane here, in all honesty. Goodra, Hisui, and Ursaluna lead. Okay. I'm going to proceed to go for Trick Room here. And then I'm going to go for the... I think I'm just going to go for Earth Power into the Goodra. That should be some strong damage. I'm counting on the fact that I cannot click Eruption safely, and I think I'm fine with that. I think I'm just going to try and clean with the Who's-a-What's-It. With the... You're going to go for Facade plus Flamethrower. That's fine, actually. Goodra's going to take some substantial damage from that. 20%. Holy shit. Okay, so that's AV Goodra. So I'm going to click Helping Hand here, and then click Eruption. I'm not going to Terra Fire, because I think the Terra could still be useful on other Mons. Protect on Ursaluna, that's fine. Goodra should still take a good amount from this, albeit not enough to kill, but it's a good amount. Alright. I'll take this. I'll take this. My play should just be to kill Ursaluna, I think. So I'm going to go for Helping Hand, and then go for Flamethrower into Ursaluna. But thankfully, though, we still deal enough damage. That's pretty good. Torkoal did its job for sure. I'll more than take that. Because I can finish this off pretty easily with my team. Ursaluna is most likely underpacing this. Then I go for Protect. Goodra Hisui comes in. Perfect. Okay, this is fine. Heal Pulse for Goodra. Ooh, okay, that's not good. That's not good at all. I need to go for Helping Hand, and then I need to go for Iron Head into some sort of, fuck, it goes for Protect again. Okay. Well, yeah, Bisharp just dies. Oh shit, Bisharp lives. Okay, that's good information, actually. I think I kind of have to Sucker Punch the Goodra in the last stage. I should have Sucker Punched last turn. I felt confident in it, but I just didn't do that. I'm gonna get up a Reflect, more so for the Ursaluna later on, or maybe in like a D-Knight later on. I don't really have a better play than that, because what else do I click here? I'm gonna click Protect for now as well, and just see if maybe my opponent will give me this turn. Okay, so they're not clicking Follow Me yet. Heal Pulse, okay. I'm gonna go for Helping Hand plus Sucker Punch here. I think there's a good chance that Clefairy just goes for Protect. Well, actually, why would it need to? I don't know. I feel like Clefairy should just go for Follow Me here. Does Chimp not have Follow Me? Okay, that's fine. Clefairy's gonna have to go for the fucking thing again. Heal Pulse, yep, okay, perfect. I know it's AV, so I know I can't take that hit, barring the crit. Perfect, Follow Me. Okay, so we can just kill the Clefairy. That's huge. Flamethrower goes off. No risk there, perfect. Okay. I think I still lose this for what it's worth. But, okay, yeah, Hustle. Alright, that's even worse, but I probably just lost this anyway for what it's worth. That takes any chance I had at winning this away. But it is what it is. Sometimes these happen. We'll see you guys in week 5, where hopefully I do a bit better.
After playing a massive 3-game gauntlet, I proceeded to go to NAIC. It took a little bit of time, and I ended up playing our week 5 game pretty late as well. If you've played VGC, the team that we ended up fighting for week 5 actually seems like it's just good stuff in Regulation C with a couple extra Pokemon, being Iron Hands, Mungus, Palafin, Dragapult, Tauros, Blaze, Moltres, Galar, Meloetta, Sneasel, and Deblade. I actually felt pretty confident going into this game, as I felt like most of the options that my opponent had crumbled to most of my offensive breakers. With this in mind, I proceeded to bring a team consisting of Flutter Mane, Torkoal, Hisuian Lilligant, Spewpa, Walking Wake, and Mesprit. I figured Spewpa here could actually be a pretty valuable redirector, allowing an easier time to set up with Flutter Mane for a potential win con. And speaking of, this was probably the only way we actually brought a fairly versatile Flutter Mane set and opted to go with a Misty Seed Calm Mind variant. This allowed me a strong way to break the setup that my opponent could have, while also allowing things like Spore Mungus to no longer be an issue here. If I led with this in Torkoal, I could outpace pretty much anything my opponent could do on turn 1. Meanwhile, I also had a really good way to potentially take advantage of most things my opponent can do and stop any sort of Amoonguss shenanigans. I did have another strong option though, being a Lilycoal lead with Terraghost, Hisuian Lilligant, and Covert Cloak Torkoal, which should guarantee get around any sort of fake out lead, allowing me a really strong turn 1 eruption. The game should bank on most likely winning with Mesprit though, due to the fact that with Terra Fairy, this was actually a pretty obnoxious Pokemon for my opponent to KO, and with Mystical Power, I was able to set up and use this as a really good means of winning.
So looking at this, this is actually really good for me. This opens up a lot, because there's no Doublade, which means there's no Wide Guard on the team. There's no Dragapult, which means that there's no really strong breaker that can lead next to Palafin and actually take advantage of me. Their team speed peaks at 100 with the Palafin and the Tauros, unless they're mellow at a Pirouette, which in that case they hit like 128. Even still, I'm not afraid of it though. My Flutter Mane here goes ham. It's really actually like genuinely gross how good this is. I'm gonna lead off with Flutter Mane Torkoal, bring Mesprit and Walking Wake. So Meloetta and Iron Hands. I do need to double check Meloetta's moveset actually. It's been a while since I played this mon. Terra Water and Hands. Ooh, Terra Water Hands. It's good to know. Let's see. So, game 1, Iron Hands plus Meloetta lead. Torkoal should still get enough damage off. So that's Relic Song Meloetta. Kind of need to go into the Walking Wake at this point, because I need to kill the Meloetta before it can get some damage off. Thankfully, we are booster speed. I'm just going to proceed to go for a Hydro Steam here. I think I go for a Hydro Steam and then probably Earth Power into the Iron Hands spot is my play. Hands being Terra Water is going to be a bit of a problem, but that does open up a lot with Lilligant, so I'll take it. Meloetta does drop. Perfect. Meanwhile, Hands is going to take a Drain Punch. Well, Hands is going to go for a Drain Punch, I should say. That might open up a Terra Fairy next turn. I'm not really sure. It kind of depends. Okay, so Tauros comes in. Tauros comes in here. Yeah, I think it opens up Terra Fairy. Just go for the... Actually, no. My play is always to go for Protect and then Earth Power the Tauros. Because Tauros can't really do much else besides maybe go for Protect of its own. It does go for Protect. That's fine. I kind of want to go for Hydro Steam plus Flamethrower. That should account for anything that my opponent actually wants to do this turn. And then I am going to go for Terra Fairy as well, just in case if they do swap and try and get a Drain Punch off, I can actually take that hit comfortably, which will be pretty decent. So we're gonna try and get perfect. The Amoonguss comes in. That's amazing for me. That might actually be the reason I win this game, to be honest. Because that's a really huge turn. My opponent can't kill me a Drain Punch anymore. Just barely I live that hit, which is huge. This Flamethrower is going to kill the Amoonguss, which is also really huge. I can proceed to 1v1 this with Mesprit later on, which is also, again, really huge for me. Meanwhile, I creep this no matter what, which also is really good. I'll dual Protect. I don't really care about the Sun anymore, actually, and I'd rather not let this get a Flame Charge up, because that is actually the only way I lose this game still. I'm going to switch out and then go for Earth Power into this, because I feel like there's a good chance this... Yep, Protects this turn. Perfect. Okay. Good talk, my opponent. Good talk. I can proceed to just go for Mystical Power plus Earth Power, and then that should be decent for me, actually. That's up a lot. So we'll go for Mystical Power and then Earth Power here, which should pop pretty easily into this Flare Blitz. Perfect. Which will matter a ton, actually, going forward. This Tauros is now taking too much damage. My Mesprit is now at +1. They're going to proceed to go for Heavy Slam here. I don't really care about that. Meanwhile, I'm going to proceed to go for a Protect and then an Earth Power here. If they kill my Torkoal, so be it. I have my... Yep, perfect. Okay, so they have Flare Blitz and Raging Bull. Flare Blitz, Raging Bull. Okay, perfect. So at this point, I just proceed to spam Mystical Power plus Earth Power into the Iron Hands. No matter what, it can never actually get enough damage off into my team, which is good. I can proceed to just go for the Earth Power. Potentially even get a Spit F drop, which is decent. Yep, we got a Spit F drop. We reveal the whole Tauros moveset, which is decent. It probably does have a few other common moves here, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to go for Protect and then Earth Power, just in case my opponent tries to target the Walking Wake instead. But actually, I don't know why I thought that was the play. Because I always die to Life Orb. If anything, that might be the reason I lose now. Draco Meteor, we don't kill. Yep, okay. So I literally lost the game off of that, actually. Fuck, that was a really bad play. So, looking at game number 2, I think I definitely do want to backline the Flutter Mane. I think that Flutter Mane is still really good in the back. I don't think I'm going to bring Wake. Kind of want to lead off with Lilycole. Lilycole should be pretty decent here, and I can actually probably just go for like a Terra Ghost on this and be fine. And like go for Terra Ghost plus After You, and then just go for Eruption. That should nail both my opponents really easily. I'm going to proceed to bring Flutter Mane in the back, and then I think that Mesprit as last one will still be really good here. I'm only going to Terra Ghost yep if Iron Hands comes. Okay, perfect. So Iron Hands did come. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to proceed to go for the Terra Ghost plus the Eruption. Because this should essentially guarantee that this play always goes off. They're going to fake out the Lilligant. Perfect, okay. And then the Eruption is going to go off and Massacre. Oh my god, that chewed really comfortably. Like, that really easily chewed. Oh my god. That's honestly fine. We're going to proceed to go for a Protect here. And then, actually, hold on. I always go for the same play, actually. Do I? No, I'm actually just going to target the Meloetta this time with After You. There we go. Just, fuck, that did less. That actually did less damage. Okay. They're going to deal some decent damage to me. That's fine. I'm going to proceed to go for a Flamethrower into the Iron Hands here. And then go for the... I'm going to go for the Solar Blade into the Meloetta. We're just going to kill the Meloetta here. So we've revealed Safeguard on Meloetta as well, which is decent. Let's see, okay. And then this Iron Hands is still... Oh, it also has Fake Out. It should be decent either way for me. I just need to figure out what the Amoonguss's Terra is going to be, because I think there's a good chance it either goes for Terra this turn or that it goes for Protect. And I think either one of those will be pretty valuable information. I could probably just proceed to dual target the Iron Hands afterwards with like some sort of Solar Blade plus like a Flamethrower. But I do just want to burn this Terra turn because this is objectively the turn. Okay, perfect. Taurus comes in. It's even better. Okay. So dual Protect, that's fine. They're going to go for Drain Punch on hands, and then, yep, Taurus goes for that. It's still not a huge deal. I'm going to proceed to go for the... I'm going to proceed to go for the Earth Power here. And then I'm going to proceed to go for the After You. Am I going to go for After You? I kind of want to go for After You, yeah. They're going to switch in Amoonguss with the Iron Hands. Okay, so that works out perfect. This Taurus can only kill one of my Mons. It's probably going to go for the Torkoal. Yep, Torkoal. That's fine. Lilligant's still actually pretty decent here, so I don't mind losing that. So I do actually need to just respect this in Shadow Ball, and then I need to go for the Ice Spinner into Amoonguss here. We've killed the Tauros, that's perfect. Okay. If they go for Spore, that's fine. Oh, they just go for Sludge Bomb. So they have Sludge Bomb. Okay, it's good to know. My play is actually to go for Dazzling Gleam, and then go for a Mystical Power here. If they go for Spore, I'm okay with that. I don't really care a ton, in all honesty, because I don't think Amoonguss endgames me. And frankly, I don't know if Iron Hands does either. But I can't let this thing... Yep, okay, so they're going to go for Fake Out. Fake Out's fine. Fake Out's whatever, actually. I don't really care. They're going to be Citrus Berry on Amoonguss. And then they're going to Spore the Mesprit. Okay. Rage Powder, Amoonguss, that's okay. Alright, so we're going to lose Iron Hands. Alright, we're going to lose Flutter Mane to Iron Hands. We're going to go for the Mystical Power here. This might be ugly. I might lose here. I think that the Misty Terrain would have been a little bit better in hindsight. But I could still win this, actually. There's definitely still a world where I do win this. If I wake up this... no, it's actually... I think it's guaranteed over. Because I can't actually beat the Iron Hands quick enough. Good game. Yep. Unfortunate. 0-5. I gotta bounce back next week.
Nobody wants to go 0-5, but unfortunately we've definitely had kind of a rough season. Well, I can't say that I exactly have deserved to be better than 0-5 right now, whether it's through my draft, prep, or a combination of both. And I'm definitely not the best player in the pool anyway, even if I did have a good team. It's definitely a little disheartening though to just see that I've had multiple weeks where I felt like I was one turn away from winning and just didn't end up following through with it. I think at this point my issue is definitely the fact though that I have a clear issue understanding my builds as of right now, and this mostly stemmed from the fact that I've had actually the same exact conclusion after playing NAIC, where I just didn't understand what I was using, and that led to me not understanding the games as much. Week 6 we're taking on a pretty terrifying team coached by Mimikyu. This team features another Sun team, and honestly, Despite the fact their Sunsetter was reliant on Prankster support rather than draw out like my team, this definitely put me on a huge back foot in terms of prep. My opponent's team consists of Victini, Crobat, Sableye, Thundurus, Therian, Mousehold, Venusaur, Yanmega, Florges, Dunsparce, Klinklang, and Persian. With Victini and Venusaur, my Sun matchup was so bad that I couldn't even bring my own Sunsetters just to make sure that I didn't end up losing faster to Victini and Terrify or Venusaur. But I also desperately needed my Sun Pokemon in order to beat my opponent due to the fact they were so crucial to this game. I felt a huge concern again, similar to our Dozagiri matchup, but this time I felt like I might have had an actual way to win this. The team we're bringing this week consists of Flutter Mane, Tornadus, Walking Wake, Torkoal, Bisharp, and Rhydon. I figured a support Torkoal could maybe bluff my opponent into thinking that we'd be using a set that could boost their Victini, while also giving us an actually really good defensive check to Victini due to the fact that we had such high defenses overall. It still allowed me to bring mons like Flutter Mane and Walking Wake and get boosted thanks to the Helping Hand support here, meaning that they could still break my opponent pretty confidently. I still brought Tailwind for speed control, meaning that even if my opponent did bring a Sunsetter of their own, I could still guarantee outpace Venusaur, so that way then it wasn't ever an issue with Chlorophyll. With Bisharp and Rhydon being strong sponges this game, I figured that whether my opponent was bringing Terrifier or Venusaur or some other sweeper of the sort, that I could just use Terrifier and Bisharp and Rhydon and muscle through my opponent. And especially in Rhydon's case, it was such a strong offensive monster due to the fact that Edgequake did so well into my opponent's team that I felt I might have something to overcome this otherwise really rough matchup here. I don't want to just lead off with like Flutter Mane and Torn. I feel like it's my best lead. I could try and outpace their Tailwind altogether, and then even if they have like Sableye on lead, I'm fine. So I'm gonna lead off with that. I'll bring Wake in the back, and then I think I'm gonna bring last mon Rhydon. I think Rhydon as a Terramon here is probably gonna snowball into this matchup. So good luck and fun to my opponent, and let's see what we can do. So they lead off with Sableye and Victini. Okay, so Sableye, Victini lead on game 1. Well, we're gonna Tailwind here, and then I'm gonna go for the Protect on turn 1. I would like to save my Terra ideally for Rhydon, but I might have to go for it on Mimikyu on Victini because I did envision this scenario in particular when I brought the Terra Rock on Victini. So they go for Imprison turn 1. That's perfectly fine, and then Glaciate. So I'm curious as to why does Sableye get Thousand Gleam? I'd actually need to check that. I would need to check that for sure. We do know at the very least this does have Imprison, and this is definitely also Prankster. And then this Victini has Glaciate. I'm curious about why this mon would actually be running that. Specifically in this matchup, it might have been for Taunt actually, but even still, what would that actually offer? Does Sableye get Gleam though? It does get Dazzling Gleam. Ooh, maybe it's for Dazzling Gleam. I'm curious if it was for Dazzling Gleam. For now, I'm not too concerned with this anyway. I'm actually going to click Bleak Wind and then Power Gem. And I'm just going to hit the Victini. I want to get my damage. Okay, yep. So that's definitely some sort of Assault Vest build for sure. Because I know my Calyx into that. That's perfectly fine though. Thankfully, as I said, I know my Calyx already for that mon. Power Gem actually just crits and kills anyway. A little unfortunate of a crit because that actually super mattered. But it's fine. We'll lose Flutter Mane in the process. But again, Rhydon honestly just came in and did damage. So I don't think it mattered a ton, but it definitely was a bit of a pain. My opponent did have Dazzling Gleam and Shadow Ball, so yep, it was for Dazzling Gleam as well. Good to know, good to know. Thundurus comes in, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna proceed to go for Heat Wave here, and then I'm gonna go for the Terra Fire just in case this has Grass Knot, and then I'm gonna go for my Rock Slide, because this will allow me to resist. I don't think they have any sort of like Terra Blast Ground or whatever on that Thundurus. I'd be shocked if they did. But my play should always just be to try and ignore any sort of weaknesses I can. Really the only concerning mon at this point if I go for Terra Fire is Venusaur, specifically if it has some sort of ground coverage, and otherwise it's not a big deal at all. They go for Protect and Sableye, and they do not on the Thundurus. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Thundurus should just drop to this. Perfect, so Thundurus is dead. We have actually seen nothing about the Thundurus, which is fine. We just know it came. And then Mousehold is last mon. I will say that my opponent apparently is known for bringing offensive Mousehold. I was warned about this actually in prep, but even still, like, to violate Rhydon, even without the resist, this just does no damage. So I'm pretty okay with that. I can double check actually if this is Technician or not, which is also good to know. But we should just do a ton of damage here. But it doesn't, frankly, it doesn't really matter because Tailwind plus that and then GG. Perfect, okay. So game 1, that goes to us. I'm gonna lead the same. I don't think I lose anything leading the same. I'm gonna bring Rhydon, and then looking at this, I feel like Thundurus might be a good one. Thundurus or Torkoal might be good. I don't know if I like Wake anymore. I'm gonna go for the Torkoal. Let's see. So they're gonna lead off with Crobat and Thundurus. Okay, Crobat Thundurus is fine.
because I can proceed to just go for a Tailwind here, and then I can go for the Terra Rock, actually. This is where Terra Rock actually is going to start mauling, or actually, I'll just go for Protector in one. Let's see, okay. So they're going to go for Cross Poison, and they're going to go for Wild Bolt. Okay, both of those are actually fine. So we're going to proceed to go for a Heat Wave here, and I'm going to go for a Power Gem. I'm not going to go for Terra Rock, though, but I'm going to go for Power Gem into Thunderous. They go for Protect. Okay, unfortunate. We could still potentially burn Crobat, though. Heat Wave, okay, unfortunate. It is what it is. Not that I care a ton, but just, they probably have Mental Herb. I don't really care to scout it, frankly, at this point. It doesn't make a huge difference. We're going to proceed to go for the Hard into Rhydon here. And then I'm going to go for a Protect. Okay, they're going to bring in Venusaur. Okay. And they do reveal Terra Poison on on Crobat. That's fine. I'm not sure why they went for Terra Poison into the Rhydon spot, but that's not a huge deal, really. This should deal just enough damage at this point. Sludge Bomb goes off, does nothing. Poison, I don't really care. Ooh, they're gonna go for Rain Dance. Rain Dance is interesting, actually, but I like the play a lot. We'll go for the sake of not getting too outpaced, we're just gonna click Protect, and we're gonna Protect. The Venusaur at least should be slower, which is good. Ooh, they're gonna bring in Thunderous, okay. It's still honestly fine. I don't really care a ton. In hindsight, I could have maybe attacked with this, but I'm still not too concerned. We're going to proceed to go for the Rock Slide here. And then I'm going to go for a Dazzling Gleam here. If they kill my Flutter Mane, that's fine. If they don't kill my Flutter Mane, that's also fine, because it just means that they're going to get denied Tailwind. Either Taunt or Protect. Weather Ball. Ooh, Weather Ball is scary. Gleam should still do a ton of damage, though. We're going to bring in Torkoal here. And then I'm going to go for a Yawn into Thunderous and then go for Protect. Because this at least gives me a chance to kill that Mon. But I can't lie, I'm actually in a really bad position right now. Specifically because I let the Rhydon go down. I at least would like to figure out fourth one, but I don't know if I'm going to. Weather Ball Torque. Oh, right, yeah. Okay. Torn Rhydon, I think, is the lead. Torn Rhydon for sure. I'm gonna bring Flutter Mane in the back, and then I think I'm gonna bring Bisharp. The thought process here is essentially, well, I could actually bring Walking Wake. Walking Wake would actually match up a lot in the rain matchup. This would actually be a really good mon, yeah. But Bisharp would give me a nice priority option that could be good for Avenging Mundi. They don't actually really kill Wake in Bisharp and Rain, now I'm thinking about it. And Terrifier Bisharp could actually be kind of a menace. I'm gonna bring Bisharp. So, looking at this, Crobat Thunderous lead is perfectly fine. I'm gonna proceed to go for a Tailwind here. And then I'm gonna go for a Rock Slide this turn. Actually, I'm gonna go for a Protect this turn. Nope. I'm gonna go for Tailwind and Rock Slide, yeah. Because again, if Rhydon dies, so be it. They're gonna go for a Protect on Crobat on Thunderous. Crobat is going to take the Rock Slide. It's probably inner focus, so it can't get flinch. That's fine. I'll go for the taunt into the Crobat just in case. Just in case it's not Mental Herb. And then I'll go for the Rock Slide here. Again, just in case. Actually, no. I'm gonna go hard into Flutter Mane. Because Flutter Mane is at least going to be faster than Thundy, which is huge. And if they're going for the... They're definitely not going for Wild Bolt. Okay, so they're not... So one, they're not Mental Herb. And two, like, that's really huge. That's actually such a huge turn for me. I'm gonna go for Heat Wave, and then I'm gonna go for Terra Rock, just for the defensive merit against Crobat. And I'm gonna go for Dazzling Gleam. And this should maul. This should kick both these Mons' teeth in, actually, at this point. I'm really glad that I decided to gamble that. As obvious as it felt like it would have been, I'm really glad I made that play. Okay, so Heat Wave misses to whatever. Thankfully my Flutter Mane will not die. We dodged the Wild Bolt, and we actually took the Wild Bolt with Torn, shockingly enough. Go into Bisharp, and then I'm gonna go for the Dazzling Gleam here. I'm gonna kill the Thunderous at least, which is pretty decent for us. If Victini ends up going for something offensive, I don't mind a ton, actually. Because keeping Torn around is way too valuable. They're gonna go for, yep, Terra Psychic. Okay, perfect. So Thundy dropped, and then Scorching Sands goes off. Okay, so they did have a ground move. I'm gonna Sucker Punch the Victini. I could also actually just go for Pursuit even into that. I could go for Pursuit into that. I'm gonna Sucker Punch, though, and then I'm gonna Shadow Ball. I think it's still my best play. I don't actually know why that would be a defensive play, to be fair, but it might be. Okay, so Giga Train, that kills, still fine. We're gonna go for Tailwind here. Actually, I'm gonna go for Taunt, because truthfully, I just don't want this thing getting up like random weather and fucking me over that way. Because Venusaur shouldn't actually be able to do a ton to me without any sort of without weather up. And I'd rather lose my Tornadus, actually. Yep, okay, so it's going for Giga Drain, which clearly means this doesn't have like a good way to damage me. And the last move on Crobat was Heat Wave. I can go for Sucker Punch into Crobat and Protect, just stopping Venusaur from getting off any sort of, oh, and that's a Choice Scarf Venusaur, which is actually really good information to know. So we have unlocked the ability, oh, they have a String Shot. Oh, I'm so sorry. They're probably just trying to put themselves out of their misery, to be fair at this point. Yeah, it is what it is. Good game, good game. We'll take it. We'll take it. We gotta win.
We finally managed to get our first win of the season. If nothing else, nobody could say I went 0-8, and this honestly alone feels really great. Going into week 7, I felt a huge weight getting off my shoulders, since there was no expectation for me to win the week due to my record, but I also had no pressure to avoid going winless as well, which also felt pretty relieving. This week we're fighting Urshifu Single, Regidrago, Talonflame, Sylveon, Gyarados, Serena, Bronzong, Alolan Raichu, and Alolan Marowak. While this team definitely has a lot of good threats, almost every Pokemon in here was required to Terra in order to threaten my team, which was actually really relieving. Using this to my advantage, I managed to build a team consisting of Flutter Mane, Tornadus, Bisharp, Torkoal, Walking Wake, and Hisuian Lilligant. I banked on winning this matchup with either Flutter Mane, Walking Wake, Bisharp, or Hisuian Lilligant, with all 4 of these Pokemon having really strong options for my opponent. For starters, if we look at my opponent's 3 Fairy checks, 2 of them are actually really severely weak to Shadow Ball from Flutter Mane, meaning that this Pokemon really only actually has to worry about Talonflame even having a neutral matchup into it. And Talonflame's not exactly the bulkiest Pokemon anyway to be taking a Shadow Ball with. Meanwhile, Bisharp here, we proved to have a field day due to the fact that Terra Fire gives us a really good defensive check to Sylveon, while also giving a strong means of priority that can take it out in Regidrago in case it's like a Scarf Dragon Energy moveset. Walking Wake is standard yet again, leaning into its water typing in order to avoid a weakness to Sylveon, especially if it has Quick Attack. Meanwhile, Hisuian Lilligant provides us with a really strong means of breaking Gyarados. Whether it stays pre-Terra and I just go for Terra Blast Electric, or if it ends up going to some other type and I most likely just click a move like Leaf Blade that'll still do incredible damage. This also changes our 4 times weakness from Talonflame's Gale Wings boosted priority Brave Bird into an actual resistance, and it gives me a really good way to actually damage this Pokemon sufficiently on lead. Meaning that I can actually turn this matchup into a really strong way for me to just out-offense my opponent and viably win.
I think that I have a really good lead overall with probably Bisharp and Torn. We'll bring Flutter Mane in the back. I think it's a good cleaner here. And I think that my final mon probably will be Walking Wake. Walking Wake overall just does a good job. And even if I don't get Tailwind up, as long as I'm not slower than theirs, I should be fine. Good luck and fun to my opponent. They're going to left with Talonflame, Regidrago. Yep, okay. That's good information. Because, I mean, I anticipated this one, but even still, it's good information to note that they were leading as predictably as I thought. What I'll do instead is I'm going to go for Sucker Punch and Taunt. I think that's a better play because I think it's where I'll get the most benefit here. So they end up not bringing Mental Herb on Talon. They do go for the Wisp turn, and then they do go for Dragon Energy. Now, Sucker Punch is huge because that does actually mean that next turn I can proceed to just go for a raw knockoff into this, and that should actually kill. That should guarantee kill because this should do around like 97.5 with the boost. Maybe it won't kill, but even still, it should be pretty close. Regidrago should be basically useless now. So we'll go for Tailwind here as well. They do let us actually just get the Tailwind up though, and we do proceed to kill Regidrago, clearing and revealing it is Assault Vest, which is really good. I'm gonna proceed to go for a Protect here. I think there's a good chance that Sylveon protects as Talon KOs me, and then I'm gonna go for a Bleakwind Storm here. The Bleakwind Storm should be a nice way to just damage both these mons. I'm anticipating that Sylveon will either go for Protect or just kill me with Hyper Voice. Frankly, I don't care which it does. I just want to make sure that I'm getting damage off. They go for Quick Attack. Yep, okay. And then Bleakwind misses Talon, but it does hit the Sylveon at least, which is decent. We will trade our Torn for that, but I'm okay with this. So I am going to bring in the Flutter Mane here. I'll proceed to just go for Iron Head into the Sylveon, and then I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball into Talonflame. I'm assuming that is definitely some sort of... Okay, yep, sweet, we kill it. I'm going to assume it's a Pixelate set, but I'm not 100% sure. We don't kill this, but I'm okay with that because I can honestly just go for Sucker into... I think I just go for Sucker into the... No, actually, I go for Protect. I go for Protect and Dazzling Gleam. I think that's my best play. Dueling Beat. Okay, that does thankfully no damage, but that's good to know that they have that over Brave Bird. Dual Wing Beat. Okay, and Talonflame is gone. They can't actually win this game anymore. So we're going to go for Sucker Punch here, and then I'm going to go for the Draco Meteor here. Perfect. Sucker Punch kills, and Gyarados is done. So we'll go for the same lead here. I'm going to bring Flutter Mane in the back, and I think I am going to bring Wake again, yeah. I feel like it's a pretty clear lead combination in my opinion. They lead off with Talonflame and Serena here. Okay, so Talonflame Serena is actually still fine. I'm going to go for Bleakwind and Terra Fire, and I'm going to knock off the Talonflame and kill it. I think that's definitely my best interest here. Terra Fire on this in particular actually works out so well in this. So they actually go for Triple Axle. Triple Axle is kind of scary, especially if they hit. Ooh, unfortunate. Okay, so they're gonna have Tailwind up and I just won't. I'm kind of okay with that. We're gonna bring in the Walking Wake here. I'm gonna proceed to go for a Protect here, and then I'm gonna go for a knockoff into the Serena this turn. Ooh, okay, I could have killed Talon. All right, well, Talon's still not really taking much damage, thankfully. We know this isn't choice, at least. I'm gonna proceed to go for Flamethrower here, and then go for a knockoff and just dual target. They're gonna proceed to bring Sylveon. That's fine. They're gonna go for the Terra Fairy here. They are also slower. And not only this, but they do proceed to actually not kill with Play Off, which is good to know. I'll go for Protect here, and then I'm gonna go for the Iron Hit here. Because there's nothing, actually no, I'm just gonna go for Dual Protect. There's actually no reason I don't click Dual Protect. No, I do kind of need to actually attack the Serena. I need to kind of gamble because there's a good chance that they don't protect. Yep, okay, perfect. And I do need to just kill that Mon because I need my priority back actually very badly. I can proceed to just go for the Hydro Steam here into Talon and then Iron Hit the Sylveon. Essentially, their game plan is either they lose Talonflame and they don't get priority up, or they let me Iron Hit the Sylveon for free and I kill the Sylveon. Either world is fine with me. Perfect, okay. Yep, so I'm okay with this. Tailwind's gonna get up, sure, but it's gonna be Talonflame and Filler in the end game. Regidrago, okay, this is perfectly fine. I should always go for this. I should go for the Talonflame hit because it's gonna always attack here. No, it went for Wisp. It went for the useless Wisp to avoid Sucker. Good play. And then Earth Power Regidrago. Okay, good to know. I think I just go for Gleam and hope I live. I'm actually fairly bulky Flutter Mane. I might have a chance of taking this, specifically for not Terra. Okay. Okay, hold on. We're cooking. We're cooking. Nope, I don't think I take that. I think I need to crit. I would literally need to crit here. Moonblast would have been so good. Fuck, why did I bring Mystical Fire? So we've revealed a lot of information, at least about the team. Very close game too, but it is what it is. I feel like the Flutter Mane Torkoal actually would do really good here. I can proceed to bring Bisharp in the back still, because Bisharp is still a really good cleaning option. And then I think that my last Mon might be Lilligant. They don't have a way to clear my weather as far as we're aware. They're gonna go with Talonflame Gyarados lead. Okay, really wishing I let off with the thing, but honestly, it's not a huge deal. We can probably just go for a Terra Fairy Gleam here, and then I can go for a Helping Hand this turn. What this will do, this should help a lot with just damaging their team. So Talonflame's gonna go for Tailwind, makes sense. Gyarados does get outpaced by that, and that means we're just killing Gyarados next turn, which is honestly huge. Talonflame does have the ability to actually just target me, and with Sun Up, that's actually gonna be kind of scary. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go for Protect, and then I'm gonna actually proceed to go for I'm gonna go hard into Bisharp actually, because even with the Earth Power here, I can actually probably just target Gyarados and be perfectly fine. Because even if it's going for Wisp, I don't mind actually sacking letting my thing get burned, just to get that off. Okay, so we know that Regidrago does have pace, which is kind of scary. I need to go for a Gleam and a Sucker Punch. I need to kill the Talonflame. They're gonna go for Terra Steel. Okay, I'm honestly okay with that. That means they probably have Terra Blast. I'm still fine with this. Ooh, they go for Earth Power. They're gonna bring in Serena here. Okay. I'll just go for Dual Protect. They're gonna go for Earth Power plus Power Whip. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna proceed to go for Mystical Fire here into the Regidrago, and I'm actually just gonna knock it off, I think, as well. If I lose Bisharp, I'm okay with that. Mystical Fire goes off. It does around 42%. Very, very bulky set, mind you. But this is good. Now Bisharp takes that hit and we kill the Regidrago. That's huge for our endgame. That's a really annoying Mon just out of the way. And trading for this, I don't mind doing. Because Gyarados endgame, I can just kill this Mon actually outright right now. I'm going to sack the boost on Bisharp at this point, and I'm going to go for a Solar Blade into the Gyarados, and I'm going to go hard into Torkoal. Essentially, either Gyarados dies, and they don't get the attack off into my Torkoal spot, or Serena can't get off any damage. Solar Blade goes off, and Gyarados is done. Perfect, okay. So now at this point, I actually just go for we're going to get triple axled. I'm okay with this, though, because Serena can't really break my Torkoal. So we're going to go for a knockoff here because we should. And then I'm going to go for Heat Wave. I just need to hit Heat Wave, really. That's all I need to do. So knockoff goes off first, actually, which is even better. It's Wide Lens, which is actually, that explains a lot of why they're hitting Axel so well. But we do win. We're on a second win. Very good game. Very, very good game. Solid. So we've won our last couple games, which feels like we're making progress. Sitting at a record of 2-5, this was honestly really insane to think about from where we started. I still have one more game to go though, and this is going to be against Vinny, who had a fairly terrifying draft. Vinny's team consists of Tapu Fini, Great Tusk, Thundurus, Magmortar, Meowscarada, Tinkaton, Weirdeer, Toxapex, Mismagius, Trapinch, and Appleton. I know I mentioned earlier in the video that Chimpact had drafted Weirdeer, but Vinny actually managed to pick this Mon up, and this was before the last week of the series, so of course we're going to be fighting
Weirder. It honestly didn't matter too much though, because just like against Shimpact, Weirder didn't really offer much against us, other than I guess a means of setting Trick Room outside of Masquerade and Mismagius, so I felt pretty confident in just ignoring it. The team I managed to bring consisted of Flutter Mane, Tornadus, Walking Wake, Torkoal, Hisuian Lilligant, and Rhydon. While I wanted to bring Spheal for the last week, my ego refused to allow this due to the fact we were on a winning streak right now, and I really tried every possible way to make this one work, but unfortunately, Spheal was just gonna end up being the team mascot here. Regardless though, going to our week 8 game, I actually felt like all 6 of my Pokemon pressured Vinny's team significantly well. I brought pretty standard sets on Flutter Mane and Torkoal. Meanwhile, I ended up changing Walking Wake a little bit, ditching Draco Meteor for Terra Blast Electric in order to pressure a Pokemon like Tapu Fini a little bit easier. I ran Mental Herb over Focus Sash and Lilligant due to the presence of a lot of strong taunt Pokemon like Tapu Fini, and I figured Terra Ghost could just stop Fig out immediately anyway from Tinkaton. Rhydon's Terra Grass in order to have any sort of defensive presence against Pokemon like Great Tusk and Tapu Fini. And finally, we have a Tornadus which is actually running a lot of bulk with 0 speed investment and IVs, which is allowing us to guarantee get the weather up last against Thunderous, which should be pretty valuable if I need to reset the weather for whatever reason, if they're going for a move like Rain Dance or Sunny Day. Now, unfortunately, I actually managed to delete my games on accident for this one, so we're gonna actually go over a brief post-com of this instead. Game 1, I ended up bringing Flutter Mane and Tornadus on lead with Rhydon and Walking Wake in the back. My opponent leads Thunderous and Tapu Fini and proceeds to go for an Eerie Impulse into Flutter Mane as I go for Taunt into Fini to stop it from going for Calm Mind. Meanwhile, my Flutter Mane does barely any damage with Dazzling Gleam. I proceed to Taunt Thunderous and switch Flutter Mane into Rhydon as my opponent swaps Fini into Magmortar here. I see Thunderous switch to a booster speed Great Tusk, revealing Fini's 4 Pokemon, which actually gives us a lot of good information. I proceed to use the combination of Rhydon and Tornadus to deal strong damage to my opponent in order to KO the Magmortar, Tapu Fini, and then the Thunderous. In an endgame with Flutter Mane and Walking Wake, my opponent can't KO both Pokemon, allowing us to close game 1 by just KOing Great Tusk at the very end. Game 2, I brought a Hisuian Lilligant and Torkoal lead, as I figured this would be a lot better into the potential Tapu Fini and Thunderous lead my opponent was leading, and I backlined with Flutter Mane and Tornadus here. I felt like this would be a strong adaptation to what my opponent did last time, but ultimately this proved to be for the worst. My opponent leads with the Terra Fire Assault Vest Mismagius, while I proceed to go for After You Torkoal into OHKOing. My opponent actually, hold on, just so you have it. My opponent leads with an Assault Vest Terrafire Mismagius, and while I'm able to OHKO the Thunderous with After You Eruption, Mismagius proceeds to KO Lilligant on the next turn due to the fact that I lacked a Focus Sash here. I lose Torkoal in the turn after that to Tapu Fini and Mismagius, with Flutter Mane dying 1 turn later. At this point, I only didn't forfeit to try and see if I could figure out the 4th Mon, but unfortunately my Tornadus was physically defensive and not Spadef, meaning that I didn't actually last long enough to scout for this last Pokemon here. Game 3 was our final game of the match, and this was all we had in terms of trying to bank on a win for week 8. I decided to lead off with Tornadus and Rhydon, as I felt like this was actually probably the move I should have went for game 2, due to the fact this still pressures Thunderous and Tapu Fini on lead while still accounting for most other Pokemon. I backlined Flutter Mane and Walking Wake here, and I felt like this was a nice middle ground overall, and I think this ended up being a really huge benefit for us here. I used my first turn to scout, and I clicked Protect on Rhydon, since this allowed me a strong chance to preserve Rhydon and go for a Terra later on if I didn't really feel the need to click it with Rhydon. Because of this play, I was not only able to deal a ton of damage to Tapu Fini, but I was also able to trade my Tornadus for my opponent's Thunderous, which I felt like gave me a lot better field positioning here. I bring in Walking Wake on my opponent's Magmortar, which reveals to actually be Terra Water, which is really difficult for my team to break. To make matters worse, I made a pretty bad double protect on Walking Wake, but at least my opponent managed to KO Rhydon and not Walking Wake this turn. We thankfully KO Tapu Fini with Flutter Mane, bringing the game down to just Magmortar and Mismagius versus Walking Wake and Flutter Mane. Now, I kind of wish that I valued attacking Magmortar a little bit more on the previous turns before Mismagius came in, or even just valued trying to KO Mismagius due to the fact that it was the real offensive threat here. But sadly though, I didn't end up really playing for either, and I instead just assumed my opponent would click follow me, therefore I figured I had to attack Magmortar here. While I'm not entirely sure this would have made a huge difference in the game, not even trying to have attempted to kill Mismagius at that endgame was definitely pretty rough, and this proceeded to make us lose the best of 3, losing us our final game, bringing our total record to 2-6. Ending the season at 2-6 is pretty rough, but for a format that I've barely had any time to learn, while also being definitely thrown in the deep end, I've managed to honestly bring a lot of games closer than I would have thought preseason. Let me know if you guys want to see some more draft content on the channel. I definitely have another tournament run that I'm considering doing with the Little Cup Pokemon, and if you guys want to see it, I might end up uploading that here as well. Massive shoutouts to Kurt, who edited this monster of a video. Make sure you guys check him out, as well as the WBG, which was kind enough to let me in their season. I really appreciate it. With that said, Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out, guys.